Before we get started, Misty from West Virginia asked me a question to ask both of you before it gets crazy. Pat's or Geno's? What's your favorite?
I like them both, but I always go to Geno's.
Really? Hmm.
Geno's also, although I won't turn down a Pat's.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. I am Pat's, and that's from Misty in West Virginia and her family that is based here. I'm going to bring Greg up now and Tats. They are two authorities in the true crime community. And I want to welcome you both and welcome all four of you here to really get to the basis of where true crime is going, where it's been, where do you guys see it in the future, and maybe us crazy true crime sleuths aren't so crazy after all. And we'll get to that. Um, but Greg, True Crimes Live, what would be one of your first questions you would have for these two guys from Philly now, not California?
Well, it'd be interesting to know what got you into becoming homicide detectives. What inspired you to pursue those careers, and what has kept you going in that field and kept it interesting for you?
You want to go, Dave?
Oh, it's up to you. I'll go first. I honestly, it's kind of ironic for me because when I grew up, I never ever dreamt that I would go into law enforcement, and I think the more I disliked and pushed away from it, I think because of, and I would even say hate it because I had, being born and raised in New York, my whole experience was never a very positive with the police. So I never dreamt I would want to be a police officer. And when I moved to Pennsylvania, things happened and I ended up landing in a position as a police officer. And here I am 34 years later.
That's interesting. Philly made you want to be a cop.
Yeah.
That's interesting. How about you, Chris?
For me, it was a little different. From the time I was about 7 years old, that was what I wanted to do. Somewhere somebody has a photograph of me at Halloween dressed up as one in, like, I think 1978. But yeah, I always wanted to do it from a young age, and it stuck with me.
And you did it. Back then, you were just hired as before the academy. I know you had mentioned, and the rest of the country may not know what that means, but you are a boardwalk officer, a temporary officer that's hired during the summers down at the Jersey Shore, and for the boardwalk basically. But some bar fights and things like that. But was that your first introduction down here on the boardwalk?
I actually started out. It was in North Wildwood, New Jersey, and yes, they hire seasonal officers to boost their manpower during the tourist months. But in 1989, I started out as actually a dispatcher. And then the following summer, 1990, they brought me back and I got to be a police officer. I had to go to the Cape May County Academy. And I was a boardwalk officer. I counted nails on the boardwalk every night, did a lot of walking. And then that fall, I got hired by the Philadelphia Police. And I was an officer there for about 2 years before going to Ben Salem, where Dave got hired one day before me and never let me forget it. But yes.
Right. So these guys were actually hired together, basically a day apart, and had a great partnership. And as your careers, started to wind down, you weren't directly partners anymore. But let's talk about, why don't you explain how Philly Homicide even started? That email, that podcast. Tell me about it. Tell us all about it, how it came about.
It was in the December of 2021, and I had recently done a podcast on KYW called Gone Cold about a Jane Doe case that I had been working on for a very long time, which ultimately we solved, and we got her identity. But it was maybe a week or 10 days after that podcast had dropped that I got an email from a woman named Molly telling me that she was a producer and that she had heard the podcast and she liked the way I told the story. And she asked me if I would be interested in working with her to develop a true crime show for the Philadelphia region. And I actually thought it was a joke. I was sitting at my desk, I'm looking around, like seeing who's laughing at me. But I did a little, I Googled her name and I saw that she had a lot of credits. And I said, all right, you got my attention. And we had a telephone call that night, and that was how it started.
Wow. Just answered an email that you thought was a prank. That's pretty incredible. But she had saw you on that KYW. Now, is she local to the area that she even got that, or was she in California and noticed it on her radar?
At the time, she was in California, but Molly is a Philadelphia native. So
okay, so she kept in touch with that area, and maybe somebody even forwarded it to her since the success. Where are we now with the show? I know we just finished season 2. Is there talk of a season 3? And when would that start filming?
I hope there's talk of a season 3. I don't have anything official yet, but I'm hoping we can get another season. I'm hoping, July. I'm hoping maybe around Labor Day I might have an idea.
Okay.
It's too soon to say. I don't have any of that data at this time. But
Greg, I know you wanted to ask Chris some things about the Philly Homicide show. So clear, I don't want to steal your thunder there for some of the questions you have.
Sure. How do you balance telling compelling stories while honoring the victims and their families?
And even privacy concerns, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great question. And to me, true crime shouldn't be about the offender. It should be about the victims, their family, and showing how hard it is to actually get justice. Justice does not come easy. I think on our show we do a very good job of we don't over embellish or things like that. We just organically tell the story.